Rock Talk with Tyson Bryden. Come on for the ride. We'll take you inside. Non-stop rock talk. It's non-stop rock talk with Tyson Bryden. Come on for the ride. We'll take you inside.
Welcome to Non-Stop Rock Talk. I'm your host, Tyson Bryden. Today, I happily welcome guitarist Phil Collen. Phil, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Thank you. Amazing. Actually, really amazing. We're actually Def Leppard's in between European and South American legs of our tour. So,
Cool.
yeah, we kick off that in October. So I got a little bit of time off.
Cool. Right on. I mean, I saw you guys. I'm in Toronto, by the way.
Okay.
So what was it? 2 years ago? August 2 years ago with
Right.
Journey? Yeah.
Yes, at the Rogers Centre. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Was
Very
great.
cool.
Great show. It was a great show.
Thank you.
So, anyways, of course, everybody knows you as the guitarist for legendary band Def Leppard, but you are also involved in a great band that some would term as a supergroup called Manraze. Manraze is yourself, Sex Pistols drummer Paul Cook, and former bandmate in Girl, Simon Laffy. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All good. Yeah.
Okay. Which is, and you know what? It's funny because I have this right here, which
Nice.
the
Wow.
debut album, which is an amazing album, by the way. So,
Thank you. Fun. Absolutely. That's great.
great album. So anyways, Manraze has released a 5 CD compilation, which was released on May 29th of this year, entitled Lock, Stock, and Barrel. This is an album that encompasses all the band's work pretty much. Tell me what prompted the band to put out all this material together in one package.
Well, it wasn't out digitally, you know. We'd released it early and then it disappeared from those platforms. And then someone mentioned, they said, you should put everything out. And we didn't realize we had such a body of work. You know, it's over 20 years and we'd recorded so much. There was live stuff, instrumental stuff, songs that we'd forgotten about. You know, the first song we ever recorded was, I called it Original Sin. And we'd done it in this little demo shoot. It was a rehearsal room in Harrow Road in London. And I'd forgotten all about it. It's like, I've never heard this before. And it's like, well, that's you singing and playing guitar. It's like, oh, okay. And we actually uncovered amazing stuff. I think there was actually even more. And we meant to, we're going to be recording some more stuff at some point. You know, I'm kind of busy at the moment because the Def Leppard thing and Paul's out on tour with the Sex Pistols at the moment as well. So, yeah, we got some, but we're really excited about it. We're very excited about this. We love the two albums and we were shocked to find how much great stuff there was floating around. So, yeah, but more to come. But
Awesome.
Really excited. I mean, five CD, you know, box set, pretty incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what really captured me, because I knew about the band, but I had not listened to it before. And I can honestly say that. But when I listen to this material, of course, vocally, I mean, I hear Def Leppard, but what also strikes me, and I will make reference to the interview you did recently with Drew Rose on Get on the Bus. You mentioned Def Leppard's background vocals were based more on a punk rock thing than, say, what other bands were doing. So when I listened to this, I kind of got that. And,
right.
And how you sing comes across believable because it seems natural to you. Would you agree with that?
Very much so. Yeah, I think there's a thing when I first joined Def Leppard, there was Mutt Lange found out I could sing, and then he also found out I could kind of shout sing, or you know, there was more, and there's not many bands who do that. They're like a exaggerated, you know, voice, a rock voice, you know, like that, and he had me singing like that on everything. So, you know, when you hear like the main stuff on Pour Some Sugar on Me or, you know, the Rock of Ages, you know, my voice comes through really, really loud and clear because it's aggressive. Yeah. And I think that was the thing, you know, we wanted you know, Def Leppard, we tried to cross AC/DC with Queen. but using punk ethos as the kind of barking backing vocals that sound more believable. There's a lot of bands out there who have these wonderful sweet harmonies and that, but it's not very rock and roll.
Yeah.
And it's like even some great metal stuff out there where they're screaming and doing all that stuff, but you don't really hear it in hard rock. It's like Roger Daltrey used to sing like that. It's like just giving it all, so it feels like your throat's going to burst. David Coverdale used to sing like that. When he first joined Deep Purple, like Burn and that, his vocals were great. But there's not many bands who do that. They tend to sing like that. It's all very sweet, but we got like an edge and an energy. It's like, yeah. It's got more of that vibe,
Yeah, nobody sings backgrounds like you guys. I don't think anybody to this day still does. I'm sure people try to emulate that, but that whole thing is something, even as when you're trying to duplicate that, like say myself, and I'm driving in the car and I'm trying to duplicate that, I'm like, yeah, I'm not even great at that. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, it takes a certain thing, and sometimes it hurts as well. It's not great. It's not great for the throat, It's like kind of that'll wear you down. Bryan Adams used to sing like that. He used to have this kind of vibe to it, and it's great. It's really cool, and that's my preference. I got to say, I love soul singing, funk singing, and all of that. But when it's rock, I like this kind of rock singing. So in Manraze, we kind of hit on that. We kind of, because it's so diverse, it can be punk, it can be rock one minute, it can be like a cross between the Stones and Guns N' Roses, and all of these songs, Over My Dead Body, it reminds me, it was based on Sympathy for the Devil, like the lyric.
Cool.
But the vibe of it, we wanted it to sound like Guns N' Roses or a kind of a little bit prettier version of Iggy and the Stooges or the New York Dolls. So it had that kind of energy, and that's what you try and create. And that's really what we were all about. Paul Cook, I loved his drumming, before I even knew him. I knew him from being in London. We'd kind of bump into each other every now and again. And, he has his drumsticks upside down. It's just aggression. Steve Jones, I loved how he played guitar. It's like so aggressive, smack you in the face. My ringtone's God Save the Queen, and it's Jones is one of the best guitar sounds I've ever heard in my life. And that's what we try and capture. And that's really what we did with Manraze.
That's amazing. Now, what I'm curious about is how you approached your guitar gear with Manraze. Is it the same as what you'd use in Def Leppard, or did you mix it up?
Yeah, we did on the second album. It was all Guitar Rig, which is a software, audio interface into your Macintosh laptop, and that's what I've been using, the same preset. Over My Dead Body, which was 2011. I use that to this day with Def Leppard. It's just tweaked a little bit, kind of. So it's more or less the same kind of thing. It's just got a different approach to it. It's just got a slightly different energy. And I find that different guitars, but live, very different. With Manraze, I went through everything, a Line 6 Veda, a Fender Cyber Twin, all these different amps, Black Star, all these different things. And in Def Leppard live, we actually use Fractal, which is again, no speakers on stage. It's just all in-ear monitors. Manraze is a little bit different. It's kind of a little bit more kind of like I said, I've used Marshall with that. I've actually used Fractal with Manraze as well, I think. So yeah.
Wow. And that brings me to your gear overall throughout the years. Obviously, you wouldn't be using the same thing you were using in the 80s because technology's changed. You're using Fractal now. But at one time, I believe you're using the Marshall JMP-1 preamp at one point. I've got one myself. I love it.
So that's what my sound's based on. The sound on my Fractal. My guitar tech, John Zocco, is brilliant. He's a great player, but he's really good at this stuff. And when we first got that version of the Fractal, he got my guitar sound and kind of copied it from the JMP-1.
Yeah,
that was the basis. And yeah, I just trust him with it. It's just killer.
It is. I mean, that JMP-1. I mean, I bought mine. It's collecting dust now. I hate to say it because
I know. Me too.
Right?
I hate it. So I love it. It's mine's in the attic, and I'm like, And I thought, I'm going to bring this down and plug it in. It's like, it's so heavy what it's hooked up to. It's like, I'm not even touching that. You know, it's like an injury waiting to happen. But the other thing, I used to have this 50-watt regular plug-in with not a master volume, just a 50-watt Marshall that I had in Girl. And that's what I see, that Destroyer in the background there. But what I used for when I joined Def Leppard, I literally plugged that 50-watt Marshall in, and all them solos, you know, Photograph, Rock of Ages, Stage Fright, everything, Rock to Your Drop, was that amp.
Really?
Just through a Marshall. And I loved it so much, and it got stolen when we were doing the Slang album. So,
oh, that sucks.
There you go. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, and you know what? That guitar behind me, I just changed the pickup in it, but I didn't put. I read that you had put a DiMarzio in it. What's that called? What's that DiMarzio called?
Super Distortion. The one on like yeah.
So I was tossing up between because some of my guitars I use Seymours, so I actually just put a Seymour in it, and I'm still not sure about it, so I might still change it to the DiMarzio.
So if you're going to get a DiMarzio, I've changed a lot of my ones to X2N, which is the most powerful pickup they do. Okay. And I coiled split it, and it sounds like a single coil guitar, or it's the most metal sounding thing you've ever heard.
That's
it's got
what
so
I
much
want.
output. X2N.
Okay.
That's what, you know, I've got them on everything. And like, you know, all the stuff I've recorded lately. I mean, I just done a thing, Crossbones Scully. I'd done this thing with a song called Thunder Love, and Mutt Lang's on it as well. He's actually singing backing vocals on it. Me and Mutt singing with Tommy Hendrickson, who plays in Alice Cooper's band. He's the lead singer, and he's awesome. But that's what I'm using. I'm using the Telecaster on it. And in the video, I'm playing a Destroyer, an X-Troyer, a Jackson X-Troyer. But on the record, I used a Telecaster with a Jackson Telecaster with an X2N. Cool. So I love them. They're amazing.
Okay, I will check those out. Now, getting back to Manraze, I spoke with Paul yesterday.
Oh, great. Yeah, cool.
And I asked him about ICU and everything. And I think I kind of confused him a little bit, because I said, the ICU is spelled ICU. Is that like a hospital thing? And he just kind of looked at me and goes, you'll have to ask Phil that question.
So here's something interesting. I never even thought about the hospital thing until you just said it then.
Oh, okay.
So when you said ICU, I thought, oh, as a hospital. No, it was actually meant to be more like a Prince thing. You know, when I was writing it, I was like, just writing ICU and everything. And it kind of just stuck. But no, that's really interesting. Yeah, the ICU thing, very interesting, actually.
Yeah. And then my wife said, well, maybe he kind of meant in terms of, like, you know how all the kids text today and everything's like an abbreviation. You know how everybody abbreviations in texting, but that song probably goes back 20 years anyways.
It does, and it was more like, because Prince used to do that all the time. It would be like I see you, and you know, numbers and letters, and it was more that, and it was more to save time and abbreviate. So I was ahead of the curve. Yeah, with the texters. Yeah, before we had texting. Yeah,
that's awesome. Now the first single is a track called "I Surrender." I love the feel of this song. Thank you. And I was surprised that this was a track that wasn't included on previous material. Why was that?
It wasn't ready when we released the last studio album. That wasn't ready, so it was a standalone. We had a couple, 3 I think, standalone singles, and that was one of them. So
cool.
Yeah, we missed that boat, you know.
Yeah. Well, here it is now, at least.
Absolutely.
Right. So and what I love about this album, what is it? CD3, is you get instrumental versions of these songs.
Why?
So when you hear that instrumental version, it makes you, you know, sometimes you focus on vocals. Yeah. And you don't get to focus on all the instrumentation. I try, you know, guys that play music, they try their best to. But to hear it isolated like that, I was like, those drums, and I told Paul this yesterday, I said, they almost have like that U2 feel to them.
Right. No, absolutely. Definitely.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. I think we were probably going for that at the time, to be quite honest. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, a song I really love in this compilation is Skin Crawl. And I love the vocal. The verse is driven with no guitar, then the guitar comes in, and that guitar line that you do just, it hits you right away. And it's kind of subtle, but it just adds all this depth. So, I mean, it's this amazing track. Hey, what do you remember about that track? And my comment I make is like, this song would have fit perfectly on Slang. That's what I got out of it.
We hear that a lot, actually. And you know, I love the Slang album. It was, when it came out, everyone was like, what's all this about then? But with us, we all thought it was a very creative thing. And I do have that theme still going. So a lot of the Manraze stuff kind of has that feel, to be quite honest. And you know, just recently we've been playing the song Slang. We've just been doing an extended version, and Nuno Betancourt comes up with us, and we do a jam. It's so great. You know, he's such a great player and such a lovely guy, and we just get up and the energy just kicks us, so it takes it somewhere else. So that's really good. But I'm glad you noticed that about Skin Crawl, because it does. It definitely come from the same place, and even some of the, you know, when new metal came out, when Linkin Park first came out, and it was kind of, you know, elements of that. You know, they would have elements of hip hop and all sorts of stuff. You know, 9 Inch Nails, all of these things you can put them all together, and I love the diversity. To be quite honest, I like the idea of us. You know, moving things and just following stuff down a rabbit hole. It's lovely.
Yeah, I thought when Slang came out, I loved it right from the get-go, because it was like different, but it was still Def Leppard. Do you know what I mean? Like when you hear all the vocals in Slang, the song itself, and you're like, it's so infectious. But there was a little bit of a darkness to it, but it was still brilliant. The whole album was brilliant.
Thank you. You know, I love it. Love it.
Yeah, and it was very, I guess you guys it was more back to basics on that.
Very much so. We recorded it live. The backing tracks, that was us playing live. Like, you know, Pyromania, Hysteria, and Adrenalize, everything was separate. You know, like Love Bites, for example, we'd never played the song live. We'd only played sections of it. And it went to #1 on the Billboard charts, and we're like, I remember this. We had to we were in Vancouver. We took 2 days off, because we had to learn how to play this thing and sing it, and who was going to do what parts. And me and Steve, was 4 prominent guitar parts on the chorus. Who's going to do what? So you make a hybrid of it, and then it's like, well, yeah, but can you sing that while you're playing that part? And so, not really. 2 days, just that song. We were petrified. And then now we do it, and it's kind of just...
Oh, it's incredible. But like, to see that live, it's always incredible. It's shocking. I mean, considering how paranoid we were when we first got together, it was like, there's no way I can sing this while I'm playing that lead note. And even that lead line, when we played it on the record, Mutt Lang goes, I want it to have a slight vibrato. So if I'm playing the lead, Steve was moving the whammy bar like this while I'm playing it. So it was actually 2 of us playing that at the same time. That's cool.
So it sounds almost like an effect, but it was 2 people. I'm playing the right hand, Steve's playing the whammy bar.
Now, an interesting question I want to ask you. Is there truth to the fact that when you recorded Hysteria, that you recorded certain parts of it one string, that Mutt Lang had you do one string at a time to make up a chord?
One part, the dang, 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 gotta know tonight, that part.
Yeah.
He wanted it to not, when you play a guitar, you arpeggiate it, meaning that you stroke the string. Yep. So whatever you're going to do, it's not going to be bang on. If you pluck it, it sounds like you're plucking it. And if you sample it, it sounds like a keyboard. He said, no, you've got to play it like a guitar, but it's got to hit different. And it just sounds a little bit unique. And it's just that part. You know, we occasionally do that. And my friend walked in the studio while I was doing that, and he's like, what do you guys do? It was just me and Mutt in there, like at midnight or something. And it's like, we're just doing this guitar. And he's like, string, one note at a time. It's like, yeah. And it sounds great. But yeah, it was just that thing, because people go, oh, you recorded the whole album like that. It's like, no, just
no, I figured it was that part. I actually tried it once. I was doing a demo, and what I did was I did it one string at a time, and I doubled it, and I think I had it like panned left and right, so it would give it this. And at the end of it, I didn't listen to it until I was done, and I was like, that it works. Like it was
Great. Yeah.
it was unreal. And like you said, it rings. It makes that chord ring.
Yes.
Which is
It sustains, and it's got a uniqueness that all the other versions don't have. You just hit the chord, it's like nah. If you pluck it, it's like nah. It's like, so it's and you don't want it to sound like a keyboard because it's a guitar.
Yeah, it blew me away. And I told a buddy of mine who's a guitar player, and he said, "You are insane." That's what he told me. I said, "Well, I had to try. I wanted to see if it actually worked."
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad it's not just us then. That's good. Good.
No, I'm a little bit crazy like that sometimes. I mean, I had to know.
Join the club.
Yeah.
Join the club.
So switching gears slightly, tell me about your other project, Delta Deep. This again was something I wasn't even aware of. So I took a listen. And Bang the Lid is the opening track on the self-titled album, I believe it is.
Yeah.
There's a studio album and a live one, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And is that you playing slide guitar on that?
Yeah. And that's the first time I ever played slide guitar.
Really?
Because I had a really weird thing happen. I'd been doing martial arts, boxing training for years and years, and you have hand wraps, and I'd obviously been having them too tight. And one day I didn't even hit anything, but my finger went numb, and the knuckle the tendon and the knuckle had separated.
Oh.
So I had to have it sewn back on, and not great if you're a guitar player. So I had a cast on it for 6 weeks. And when I took it off, my wrist went like this. It was like, oh God. So I'd never played slide. I knew how it went. My favorite slide player was Joe Walsh. I love Raikuda. I mean, there's so many great slide players, but there's some that really stick with me. And I looked at this thing, and Dwayne Allman, killer, and Joe Walsh was given a tutorial on YouTube, and he goes, "Okay, you tune in like this. Dwayne showed me how to do this. You put the finger there, you put the slide against the actual fret wire, you block it with the finger." So I'm like doing this, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is great." So then I came up with that, and literally. That was that week. Actually, I came back from my injury, and I started playing slide. So that was thanks to Joe Walsh, and thanks to the injury, that's what that all came about.
Wow, it's such great slide playing. To be honest with you, I loved it. I was like,
well, thank God. Over years of listening to Rory Gallagher, all these great slide players. Like I said, Dwayne Allman, and Yeah, so many side players, and I knew it in my head, but I just didn't know how to put pen to paper, sort of thing,
Wow. And then on this album, David Coverdale is on the track "Private Number," and
yes,
and I'm a huge fan of David. But I love the later Whitesnake, but I absolutely love the early Whitesnake.
Right.
As you would know, being in the UK, that I'm sure it was everywhere at that time.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And over here, we didn't seem to get it as much until later on. Right.
Right. Definitely.
And how was it that David ended up singing on that track?
So obviously, I think we mentioned Mistreated at first. And I normally sing, me and Debbie do a duet, but Joe done it. And David didn't want to do it. He said, well, I don't even know how it came about. I said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, well, do you know Private Number? And we pulled up and we said, yeah, really? So you do that with Debbie? You two will do a duet? And we pulled up and we kind of go between funk, soul, blues, rock, and that was a soul song. So we actually, it was right in the wheelhouse, and he nailed it. It was actually great. It wouldn't have been a first choice, but it turned out great, and it was like unique and special, and then there's David on the album with it, which was beautiful. It was wonderful.
Wow. When I was going through the track listing and I saw his name, I was like, I got to go to this song, because being a huge fan, I had to hear it. And as you mentioned, and I was going to make a joke about this, because I said, then there's a gentleman named Joe Elliott who sings on Deep Purple's Mistreated.
Yes.
Right. And
the irony. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I mean, that guy's got a good voice. He could do something one day.
We can see Joe he's totally underrated. He's such an amazing singer. He's got such a unique voice, and he's got better and better and better. Like
I know.
When you see us live now, it's incredible. He warms up like hours and hours a day, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's fake," and they think our backing vocals are fake. So no, this is what you do when you rehearse and you play and you take it seriously. That's what happens. And so it's really good. So it's nice hearing Joe stretch a little bit and do stuff like that. So that was really cool because he obviously nails it. You know, he's just getting better and better. I love it.
I know, and I agree with that because I always tell people, I was like, Def Leppard is the best live band out there. I always tell people that because I've seen so many times, and I was like, their background vocals are real, and people go, "Yeah, come on." I was like, "No," and Joe sounds better than he's ever sounded. Yeah, and you're getting a show, right?
I heard a phrase. I heard a phrase. I was doing an interview in a South American interview, and they said, "It's been said you're the greatest living live rock band in the world." I'm like, I'll take that. So yeah, that was great. So yeah, I mean, it gets out there, and when you put all these things into, you know, into practice, and you actually hear it back, and it's like, yeah, it's us really doing it, and it takes a lot of energy, but it's great. It's such a great payoff, you know, for us to do that. So no, I love it.
How much singing do you guys work on?
So we all do about 2 hours a day, and Joe does more than that. Warm-ups when we're on tour. When we're off tour, not at all, you know. Yeah. I don't, you know, and until we start, you know, just before South America, I'll start singing. I'll start doing that and start warming up and singing every day. It's hard to just to hit those notes all the time, you know. So yeah. Wow. It's a tough one.
Wow. And like going into a tour, how long would you guys go into rehearsal for?
Well, I rehearse at home on my own. I'd just be sitting here and singing along to the stuff. And then when we go in, depending on how much stuff we've got to rehearse, like, you know, production stuff, we just probably about 5 days. Okay. Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I would have thought it would have been more, but obviously, I mean, you guys are so used to doing it too. I mean,
unless it's new songs and production and stuff. Right?
Wow. Which brings me to my next question. I understand you are working on a new album for 2020.
We're always working on a new album. And we actually never stopped. You know, Diamond Star Halos, you know, song 73 was going to be on there, and we missed the deadline. So that come out. So we're constantly writing and recording. Yeah. So it's like it's not like, oh, we're going to go into the studio. It's like, it's just something we always do. So it's, yeah.
That's cool.
But we're definitely, so whenever that comes out, whenever that's ready, it'll be there.
So I mean, you mentioned Just Like 73. So will Rejoice and Stand By Me be on it as well, do you think?
Don't know. We'll see what happens, you know. Yeah. Be nice, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Because they're all, they should be, yeah.
That's cool. Now, I must ask about yourself and Vivian Campbell.
Yeah.
How you guys work on, when you're working on new music, how you work on guitar parts. Because I know you and Steve on Hysteria, like those guitar parts are, you know, so structured and so great. Do you work with Vivian the same way?
It's slightly different. Same with vocals. I mean, I'll just be, I'll come up with an idea, and then usually I'll come up with 2 or 3 more ideas that complement it. And then I'll start recording all them, and it's like, whoa. And then I'd send it to Viv and say, well, what do you think? And then he'll take one of them or make a hybrid of something. And before you know it, we're doing, Keith Richards calls it weaving sonic tapestries. Him and Ronnie would weave sonic tapestries. So we do that, but it has to be, you have to be very aware of what the vocal's doing. Yeah. And so sometimes it'll change, but it's just an ongoing thing. Same with the vocals. It's like you mustn't cloud the lead vocal. You've got to enhance it. So you enhance it with guitars or vocals and melodies, and, you know, rhythms can't get in the way of it. So it's very straightforward, I think. And so we just do that. We naturally shift into that, you know.
Cool.
So I think I've got to go. Because I've got 2 more interviews.
Do you? Okay. Well,
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Can I ask you one more thing?
Sure. Absolutely.
I was just curious about you producing, because that Tesla album you did was phenomenal. I loved.
Thank you.
I loved that album. So, is there anything else other than Def Leppard or your bands are doing that maybe you'd be doing some more production?
Just getting the time, really. Yeah, I'd love to. The right thing come along, absolutely. You know, if there was cool band, cool songs, cool singer, all that stuff. Yeah, I'd be up for it. It's just, like I said, it's just getting the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I loved that album. Like,
Well, thank you. Me too. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, Phil, you know what? It was such a pleasure to speak with you today. And
Me too. Thank you.
And,
really, really, really interesting and fun. So yeah, that was great. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All the best.
Pleasure.
Okay, Phil.
Oh, you too. Take care.
You too.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.